Are we hiding or something? Godku? Are we hiding or something?
Hiding?
Yeah. Why are we here?
I don't know.
Hmm?
Are they going to do something?
And there's going to be a few residual bees, I'm sure, that'll follow you wherever you go.
Yeah.
And we'll take it into the kitchen area, I guess, and we'll hook this knife up and make sure everything's clean first, of course. And we'll take the cappings off the frames, and which then will expose the open cells. And Lonnie says he's got an extractor. We'll put them in the extractor, spin them out, and whereupon then we go into a bucket, I would guess, and carry the bucket over. We'll run it through this, got a little screening set up here, and the screening cloth, and that'll get rid of the bees' legs and pieces of wax and different things that don't look good in
But
honey.
you leave the bees bees, right?
They can have the bees,
They
yeah.
may be too young, you can get that.
And
Hey guys,
go ahead.
these are actually beds and we have potatoes in here, so don't just walk all over there. This is an opening through here and got a little space around the hive.
You
But
can
we actually have potatoes.
you can harvest those potatoes. You want to just reach your hands in.
Yeah, I had one this morning, they're pretty good.
Did I see, were there some blue ones in there too?
Yeah.
So basically that's the plan. I guess I can put this back here.
And he got us started. We had some hive bodies here, and he got us some bees. And then we're thinking that next year, the bees make it through the winter well. We'll divide them and make.
They are more suitable for the brood, kind of the cluster of bees. They kind of like to be in about that size. So the wider frames are just easier for them to use for their own storage and their own raising the little bees, of course, the young ones. And the smaller ones on top there are called supers, which that always seems strange to me, but it's short for superimposed, put on top, I guess. I don't know why they come up with that. But, and they're just so much handier. Those will going to weigh around 25, 35, 45 pounds, which is plenty enough to lift around. Those deeper ones, when they get full, they go up to like 90 or over 100 pounds, which isn't very handy for removing the honey when you got that much weight. And the one that sits on the very top was just kind of a feeder area we had earlier in the year that's for some reason just kind of still around here. And there's an inner cover below that, which we're going to place that on the top when we get the honey off. So we'll go ahead and we'll see how heavy they are, but we'll leave them those too deep for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe feed them, but they're still gathering nectar now.
That should be plenty. The bottom one.
I would think so, yeah, because like I said, they can go up to 90 pounds a piece.
Yeah.
They're probably not, the bottom is probably almost empty. The second one, I'm guessing, is probably full. And 60 pounds is...
Kelly has a really fantastic urban permaculture site on the corner of 4th and Broadway. And Brian has a site over on Adams.
Yeah.
He's got a really fantastic wood-fired bread oven in his backyard, and
Let's go there. Let's see from.
Brian.
These ones, well, it's cut foam are meant to be cut into little squares.
Dripping honey.
Notice that it's kind of shifting over a little bit. So that
Now, actually, I'm probably going to desert you guys. When you get these extracted, put the empty wet supers that are in top of here. And then you probably do away with this.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. They will extract from them. I don't know. I've never seen this that close.
I think you're going to see some brood in here too, which is kind of the way it goes when you use the excluder. And it's not the end of the world. But,
And what's the pros and cons of using an excluder?
well, what the excluder does is keep the queen theoretically out of these upper parts. But in fact, what actually happens, and especially when we were starting here, we had foundation only. Whereas after we get done, we'll have some extracted comb. But the bees don't hardly move through the excluder to draw out comb. And I don't use them at all.
Okay.
Some people do, but I've noticed that it seems like it hurt the honey yield itself because they just don't like going through it that much.
Do you guys understand what he's talking
And a
about?
honey excluder is basically a screen that's just a certain size that the workers can get through. And of course the drones, being the big guys they can't. And the queen can't either. So that'll keep brood out. And what we see, or what I see here, is some brood in here.
If you keep the queen out, then she can't lay eggs in there, and it's all going to be honey.
Yeah.
But he's saying there's a trade-off. You know, he'd rather have the queen get up there maybe and lay a few
And
eggs.
so you'll have a little brood show up when you're extracting it. It's not going to be a big deal.
What do you do with them?
We'll just put it back on the hive, and they might emerge and turn into drones, it looks like. And
How can you tell whether they're drones? Or
well, by looking down here, you see the drone cells are kind of bullet shaped. They're about maybe a quarter-inch longer than the rest of the cells that are capped.
Are these workers or drones here?
These are all workers. I haven't seen a drone yet. And actually the drones here in a couple of weeks, they'll be kicked out of the hive because they're only good for one thing, and that doesn't happen in the winter. So,
They kick them out?
yeah, they kick them out.
And then-
if they try to get back in, they'll get killed.
Huh.
It's like on drone day, you better go. And of course, once they're outside the hive, they don't live very long
So
either.
you men ought to appreciate us women all the more, because we put up with you.
This is a woman's world. Don't let them fool you. Yeah, let's play along.
Trying to watch.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
You should have a drone. This has been a course of action. Maybe a drone side.
Really yummy.
Oh, it doesn't taste like
Yeah, this is the cover, right? The top
cover.
the top cover.
Then this one is connected with the down on this
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, this was the top. This one was the top, and then there were boxes, small boxes.
They all coming and out to this hole.
Yeah.
The extra pieces too. You want to take the extra pieces of it?
Sort of go down here, you'll see where I drive up. And you on campus hunting. All right, let's head up. So we're
So
gonna
how
go
many gallons do you think that is?
3 or 4? No. Somebody left a cup down there? So
No.
we're gonna go up to the kitchen in the